Hello, welcome to Awake In Podcast, episode 2. We'll be trying out something quite experimental, an unedited version of our conversation, and we would love to hear your thoughts on it. Do you like it? Not like it? Please let us know. Enjoy.
Boom. We're back on.
Welcome back, everyone.
We're on the airwaves. Yeah, my dad, he listened to the first one, I think, and he said it got better after you both stopped giggling and
Really?
actually had something to say.
I think that's from an older person's point of view.
Brilliant. Yeah, I don't mind the giggling personally.
I like it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's natural in a conversation.
It's human. And it's also just nerves because we're not used to recording ourselves having chats like this.
I thought it was because we were having a good time.
I think it's a bit of both.
Cool.
Anyway, Jasmine, how are you doing?
How am I doing? So I am now 1 week from having started a at-home retreat program. It's not a meditation program. It's by a man called Matthew Hussey. If none of you know, he is supposed to be like a love guru. Although when I first started following him, actually probably 8 or 9 years ago, it was very much based on self-development. So this is his ultimate program. And I've always wanted to go to the, it's usually in America somewhere in a beautiful hotel, but now he's changed the format to make it accessible for everyone around the world. And I'm only halfway through the program. It was very intensive. A lot of transformation I found. And I would highly recommend it to anyone. So he's actually having a month trial. So if you don't like it, you can return it, like no questions asked. Which just goes to show, I think, how much he guarantees that this change will be impactful for your life.
Wow. Cool. Well, we'll put a link in the show notes, folks.
Yeah. And it's not only just for women as well. It's for anyone who feels as though they aren't living to their fullest potential. I mean, I don't know anyone who really is, but if you need someone to help guide you through that process, this is a fantastic program of what I've seen so far.
Wow. So what kind of things have you been learning?
There's actually one part which I find really fascinating, and it actually goes towards principles of impermanence. And he actually does mention mindfulness within it in one section. But he says most of the time people don't end up creating the change that they want in their lives until something often catastrophic happens. Something that pushes you almost over the edge, where it, instead of becoming, oh, I would like this to happen, it's more of a, this needs to happen and it has to be that way. And what he ends up recreating is what he calls an emotional avalanche. And yeah, it's so intense.
Wow.
It's this module is maybe an hour and a half long, and he guides you through a meditation actually. And I don't know if I should would it be ruining it for someone if I told you what happens in it?
I doubt it.
He basically takes you to your deathbed.
Oh.
In a really, really evocative manner, and brings up and highlights all your regrets. So essentially he kills you and then he revives you again.
Wow.
And that's extremely powerful. So many tears. And maybe like some people might say like it's really contrived because you're forcing yourself to be in a situation like that. But in some ways I feel like that's the reality of what we are in. You could die tomorrow, but you just might not. I feel like it's been used effectively as a tool to help people who do want to create the change but feel stuck.
Wow.
So I would highly recommend it, even just for that. And they say that that's not even what day 5 will bring. And I'm only on actually midway through day 3.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's been a lot.
he does that on day 2. So you
So,
can imagine how intensive this program is.
so you've got through 3 days of it now. How long's this taken you in real world terms?
A week.
Yeah. And that's like
And
fitting it around other stuff, right?
yeah, fitting it
Yeah.
around other stuff. Actually, I had dedicated my entire week to just doing this program.
Yeah.
Granted, I was going through some personal issues simultaneously where I was doing a lot of my own writing and so on. But to even just sit there and be watching and physically involved when you don't have everyone around you, I find that can be quite challenging. And then it's quite a tiring process.
Yeah.
You're mentally motivating yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference between what would be if it was live.
Yeah. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people doing like remote retreats right now. And I mean, well, personally, I don't know. I basically couldn't do that in my
Yeah.
family house here with an 8-year-old, and it would just be not the right environment. But it's really interesting, that idea.
Do you know anyone going through that process or who?
No, not personally, but I listened to an interview with this guy, Ron Serrano, who set up a kind of online Dharma group. They're mainly a Facebook group called Dharma Mechanics. And they're a really interesting lot. We'll stick it in the show notes, folks. Yeah, and there's a bunch of people on there who are very sort of long-term practitioners, and they're doing all kinds of stuff like that. Kind of, I haven't had time to dig into it yet, but they're doing retreats together, and they're doing sort of co-adventuring type stuff where they check in with each other and that kind of, a bit like we're doing now, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's really interesting how it's kind of opening up like that, and we've got I mean, like Ingram's Dharma Overground forum as well. That's a really interesting place, and all kinds of people on there. Some like really experienced practitioners, and some like newbies, and some people who've like gone through something that has freaked them the hell out, and they're trying to figure it out. All kinds of interesting people on there. Yeah.
So maybe this like online community, because of what's currently happening and affecting all of us, is maybe you're saying causing more people to go virtual?
Well, I mean,
Or is
both of
like
those communities were
kind of an
happening.
encouragement?
Yeah, they were happening anyway. This is like ongoing, but so it's a trend, and obviously it's gonna accelerate it. This kind of event. So for anyone listening in the future, we are in the midst of the COVID-19 lockdown, and it's been what, 3 weeks now in the UK, a month. We're all losing track of
Yeah,
time.
I think it's a month so far.
Yeah.
I've actually been in for another 3 weeks before that, so I'm on 7 weeks now. Days have transcended themselves. Every day feels like 2 days. I feel like I'm on a weekend most days. It's interesting
Yeah.
what time feels like when you're indoors. And this is actually exactly what happens when we're on a retreat.
Yeah.
Because why does it matter when you're on a retreat? You're there for, I don't know, 10 days. You're not talking to anyone anyway. You're not seeing anyone. So what's the point in like keeping track of time?
Yeah. Yeah.
It definitely feels like that right now.
I wish I had that luxury, because I'm still holding down a job 4 days a week at least,
Yeah.
and well, it's a good problem to have right now. You know, my heart goes out to people who are not in that position, against their will, whatever. So yeah, wow, it's just been a really strange time. and I don't know if it's is I don't know how much of it is like just me, just my own feelings about it, or my feelings when I go out in the street and I see everyone else looking really worried and like wearing masks, and that
I don't see anyone wearing masks.
really.
Like, no one has worn a mask
Oh, there's quite a few
in
around my way.
any of the regions. Yeah.
Right.
So it's been a huge cause of concern.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know. Some people are more safe in other areas, maybe. Or, I mean, it's hard to know because we're not out all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's not that much. I mean, it might be 10% of people around here, but you do see quite a lot of them. Yeah.
well, I mean, because the droplets are airborne, I think, and because people don't know if masks are effective, but I mean, who says that they're not as well? Because I don't know if you're driving on a motorcycle and you have like goggles on, you don't get bugs in your eyes. Like, I
Yeah.
imagine it's just like that. Um,
Yeah. I think, I mean, from what I've gathered, they're not a lot of protection for you, but you might protect other people by wearing one.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, if most people are asymptomatic or they don't know they have it, then it's
Yeah.
pretty much safe to do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wearing something when I go in a shop, basically. That's my protocol. Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. So, I mean, I've been really glad I have some sort of practice that's going pretty strong and kind of keeping me getting through this. Basically, that's my anchor right now.
What would be interesting is to hear for anyone listening what practices you might be having that have been grounding for you.
Mm,
Bill and I were discussing prior to this that our meditation practice has really just been at the core of holding us together in a sane place.
yeah,
Um, and if you don't have one, are you interested to find something? How are you managing? What might you be doing? Yeah, that would be interesting as well for those who don't have a practice.
yeah. We'd love to hear from you folks. Hit us up, awake-in.com. uh, all three of our audience. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's been going great anyway. It keeps on getting more and more interesting. This jhana kind of absorption meditation I've been doing. It's very different from what I was doing before, and it's like a little playground that kind of it's reliably interesting and strange, and very calming every time I get into it, and that's just amazing. It doesn't last very long. I mean, it kind of you come out of it and you're like, ah, oh, dude, like nothing can faze me now for about half an hour, and then you just back into like, oh god, and you have to kind of remember it, and that kind of it's definitely a state thing, but the basic kind of afterglow of it lasts all day in that basic kind of like, if there's been any day when I haven't managed to recently, then I'm really aware of it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is bad. I'm getting really stressed out by all this stuff I don't need to. Yeah.
And for me, also, the difference in just like some form of exercise, especially if we're working, I'm finding that just stretching or like doing different tapping, like so you can do something like this all over your body, and that just really, after doing it for about less than a minute, you feel really revitalized. And where's that practice? I think some Asian form of practices, similar to like maybe it's found in Qigong. Yeah, like different tapping all the way. You can do it in your face as well. It's like really good for you. Let's try it out now, guys. For about 30 seconds. Let's see how we feel. On your legs as well, all the way down.
This is good. Yeah, this is like a basic. It's like a basic massage.
But when you do it like this
Oh,
with
like
the
that.
pecking, it's called pecking.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like the pecking tap ends up like making much more like it penetrates deeper into the muscles
Oh, okay.
and releases more tension. So you can try it out.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit painful initially when you do it,
Uh-huh.
and then if you do it all over, like you see a really big difference. So let's continue doing this, guys. See how we feel.
It looks really odd, but I can't see what your arms are doing. You're sort of bouncing
Yeah.
around like. Excellent. Yeah. I've just found like I've been gradually getting into just jogging around, basically.
Jogging.
Yeah, just I jog over to Well Street Common and run around a bit, do a few pull-ups on a tree, and then jog back again, and I feel much better for that.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like otherwise the body just feels cold as well, and especially with the fluctuating heat
Yeah.
over like Easter bank holiday, it was so hot, and then now it's cold and slightly showery.
Mm.
I feel like it's a really easy. Like I don't know if it's when you're energetically quite in tune,
Mm.
but if you're not careful, you can get like caught out, like feeling a little bit like sick or like a bit run down, and that's actually where I am at right now. So I'm often just blanketed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Stay warm. Stay warm. Ah. Wow. Well, I think let's keep this a short one. I need to go and
Yeah.
eat something. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That sounds good.
Cool. Looking forward to our upcoming chat with Daniel Ingram.
Yes, that is sometime in the future.
Sometime soon.
Yeah, cool. Speak to you soon, Bill.
It's been a pleasure.
And thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah.
Subscribe to us, give us some feedback, let us know if you'll be joining us for the Daniel Ingram episode.